Big Teen. What the heck is it? Hi, I'm Andrew Tom, Chicago-based artist and curator. For the next couple of minutes, I'm going to be talking to you about one of our city's most elusive, up-and-coming music scenes. Perhaps you've heard the phrase Big Teen before. Maybe you've seen it online or in a hashtag, or in reference to a person or a band. Most likely you've seen it on a pornography website. But let me be clear about this. When we say Big Teen, we are not talking about the porn thing. This is not Big Teen, the porn thing. Now, some of you might be saying to yourselves, I've never heard of Big Teen before. Does that make me not cool? Absolutely not. The reason you haven't heard of it is because the big teensters out there haven't been trying very hard to get your attention. And I don't mean to say that there's some sort of underground, pretentious community of exclusionary hipsters. What I mean is that big teen artists literally do not promote their work through any form of communication, except secondhand word of mouth. Let me give you an example. One afternoon in July, I was walking through an alley, chasing a stray cat around some dumpsters just for the heck of it. And all of a sudden, I hear this raucous, live music coming from one of the nearby houses. I pursue it. The music leads me to an open gate and through a backyard into a basement. There's a band playing and maybe 4 audience members. I ask my fellow attendees who the band is. They tell me they don't know. I ask them how they heard about the show, and they say that, like me, they just heard sounds, so they followed them. After the band finishes performing, I ask one of the musicians if they have a website. Nope. A Facebook page? Nope. A Tumblr? An email address? Some sort of way to get in touch with them or hear about their next show? The musician says to me, "Don't worry. You'll hear our next show when you hear it," then laughs and walks away. I tell you what, I went back to that house maybe 5 or 6 times after that. We all did. We told some of our friends. And I'll be honest with you, we didn't catch a single other performance in July, but man, were we hooked. Okay, so Big Teen promotes their art exclusively through the performance of their art. That's weird and dumb. But what is Big Teen? What does it sound like? In my experience, Big Teen music doesn't follow a specific sound as much as it does a series of aesthetic principles. First off, big teens believe in brevity. A band set never lasts more than 15 minutes. How do they choose to fill those 15 minutes varies frequently, but the idea seems to be that they want to have as many artists as possible perform on a single concert. It's not uncommon to see 7 big teen bands on one bill. Of course, I should also mention that most musicians perform in multiple big teen bands, so you will most likely see a recombination of the same people over and over throughout a show. Second, big teen artists have a taste for the meta-theatrical. Most performances are accompanied by some sort of live video feed, projecting the performance in real time through the use of onstage webcams and GoPros. In a way, this use of live streaming what's already in the room both distracts from and calls attention to the act itself. It puts the audience in a state of hyper-awareness and overstimulation. Third, big teens love minimalist music. Like wholeheartedly and unironically. They fucking love it. Specifically phasing. I've heard the Steve Reich piano phase played during set changes between bands at least a dozen times now. If you happen to go to a big teen show on a Friday, you'll most likely witness a tradition I've been calling Phase Fridays, in which whoever is running sound that night will play a homemade recording that takes a short audio excerpt and phases it for 15 minutes or so. I can tell you that no matter what the audio excerpt is, be it a McDonald's jingle or a song by the Zombies, this sort of ritual interlude seems to leave the crowd with a fervent enthusiasm for the rest of the show. Speaking of rituals, Sundays are another day where you can catch a weird big teen tradition, a recurring dance party which some refer to as Disco Dimanche. On Disco Dimanche, any band member can set up the 15-minute dance party of disco music. Once again, this gesture is entirely dependent on the sound engineer. It's often a rather messy transition, and usually no one ends up dancing except for the band on stage. But people seem to appreciate the effort. Interruptions, distractions, tasks, or challenges that seem to take the listener out of one thing and throw them into another. This seems to be fundamental to Big Teen. I once saw a show where during one particular set, people just started screaming. Completely unfazed. It was wild, and I had no idea what was going on. Actually, no one really seems to know what's going on. And then, of course, there's the name, Big Teen. Where does it come from? Like many scenes, its origin is unknown, and perhaps that is a good thing. In my opinion, Big Teen depends on mystery, on not knowing. But I do have a theory as to the inciting incident for Big Teen, a glimpse into the origin of this elusive and shrouded genre. It comes from a video clip I've seen online, posted without context by various people in the Big Teen community. It's a short clip from an episode of Even Stevens, in which Ren Stevens must give a presentation on the first moon landing for class. She fails to do her research in time, and during the presentation can only tell her classmates that we simply went to the moon in 1969.
Well? We went to the moon in 1969. Not 1968, but a year later.
This lone detail is repeated over and over in the form of a musical number, which rouses the class into song and dance, ultimately ignoring the fact that Ren knows nothing else about the history of the moon landing. In other words, Big Teen attempts to do without knowing. Big Teens perform mindlessly in the face of those more mindful, the listener. For the mind of Big Teen is always scattered, elsewhere, not fully in the room, not fully present in front of others. And it acknowledges this in every performance, in every audience.
I'm lecturing you from somewhere else. My basement, to be more specific. I'm writing to you from here because I don't think you would believe me if I were there, speaking to you in person. I always thought I had more authority on AOL Instant Messenger than in any other form of communication. Perhaps I was more myself, more ideal. I'm not completely here, guys. No one is. But I have an idea that might help us all. It's quite simple. Throw your phone into the toilet. Go ahead. Go into the bathroom right now and just throw your phone into the toilet. Really. Do it. Throw it away. Throw it away, please. Throw your phone into the toilet and just forget about it. It could be really cool. It might not do anything for you, but it might feel really good.